Welcome to Deakin Stadium. It's preliminary final day. It's Canberra Olympic against Gungahlin United, with the winner progressing to the grand final next week to play Belconnen United at McKellar Park. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator for what we hope will be a thrilling match this afternoon here at Deakin Stadium. With me, as always, Steve Forshaw. Steve, when we looked at the fixtures at the start of the season and you saw this one in the diary, preliminary final day, probably not two teams you'd expect to be here, would you? You'd maybe expect Canberra Olympic, given their form, to have been straight in the GF, and Gungahlin United, well, nobody really expected them to get this far.
No, I think you've got both ends of the story, haven't you? Olympic a little disappointed that they didn't get straight through against Belconnen last week, failing in a penalty shootout, and Gungahlin, the surprise packet of the season, probably, but thoroughly deserved to be here. And if they can continue the momentum that they built up over the last few weeks, you can expect a really decent game.
These two sides have met twice this season, and in those two games there's been 13 goals, so we're hoping that we get a few more this afternoon. Yeah,
I'm expecting a pretty tight affair, but both teams have got enough firepower to actually crack the defences open, so there probably will be goals, but I'm not expecting that we'll get a 5-3 or a result like that.
Well, across those two games, the first one in round 7, Canberra Olympic beat Gungahlin 5-2, and in the round 16 game, it was a 3-3 draw, which doesn't tell the full story. Stephen Dominici, hat-trick in both those games, 6 goals against his opposition, so he does like playing against Gungahlin.
Yeah, he's had a good season, hasn't he? I think he's runaway leader in the Golden Boot, got 27 all across the league. Gungahlin need to be on their mettle to sort of keep him under control. I mean, 6 goals, hat-tricks in both games, tells its own tale.
Looking at that round 16 game, Steve, though, as I said, the result didn't tell the story. Gungahlin actually were dominating that game for large periods, and they were 3-0 up, and it was only a hat-trick from Dominici in the last 25 minutes of the match, 2 in the last 6 minutes, that got Olympic a point from that one. I mean, it was the last round-ish of the season. It was last but one round, so they had the title nearly in their grasp at that stage, but from their point of view, that was a bit of a surprise.
I think so, and I think it can work both ways, but I think Gungahlin will have learned some valuable lessons about that. They were in a winning position and conceded late to end up with a point, and in the end a valuable point, and I'm sure at the start of the game, if you'd have offered them a point against Olympic, they would have taken it, but putting themselves in the position where they were actually, I think, 3-1 up with 10 minutes to go, they would have expected a little better, and I can't imagine that they'll let the 2-goal lead slip again today. Having said that, I'm not sure that Olympic are going to concede that many either.
The beauty of finals football is that anything can possibly happen. When you look at the league table and you see that Canberra Olympic were first on 47 points, 15 points ahead of Gungahlin, who finished 4th overall. At the end of the day, though, that means nothing on these kind of occasions.
That's right, it's a lottery now. Both teams are in exactly the same position, both playing for a spot in next week's grand final. Form previously probably doesn't count for much, although both teams will be looking to build on what they've done in the last few games of the season, or in the last few games, including the semi-finals. But today it's a lottery, and the best team on the day will win.
Marcel Munoz has brought his team here through the elimination final last week, the last chance saloon for them and Canberra FC. They've knocked Canberra FC out at this venue. Goals from Marco Ronaldo, Jason O'Dwyer and Mishko Nomoski, giving them a far more comfortable 3-0 result than many expected.
I think so. I think people have underestimated Gungahlin all year, and like I said before, they thoroughly deserve to be here. They've got quality at the back. In terms of their defence, they're probably as good as anybody in the league. Their creativity in midfield's excellent, and they've got pace and goal scoring threat up front. So the Olympic will have to play well to win the game, but Gungahlin have been underestimated.
We can see Gungahlin in the tunnel there in their yellow shirts, going to be led out by their skipper Jack Green, and he's part of a back four which we'll look at in a moment that looks really strong. They're playing an Olympic side, of course, that were knocked out on penalties in the qualification final last week to put Belconnen straight through to the final. A 2-2 draw there. Robbie Katnach and Josh Gillespie scoring their goals, but rather surprisingly, Olympics big name players failing from the spot, and the Blue Devils going through.
Yeah, I was at the game, and it was a terrific game to watch, a good spectacle. I mean, once you get to penalties, anything can happen, but Finn Jurak in the Belconnen goal covered himself in glory. He pulled off 2 wonderful saves from Angelo Constantinou and from Stephen Dominici, who you wouldn't have expected either of them to miss. But in the end, that was enough to get Belconnen through.
And Olympic, of course, instead of training this week, they had the small matter of a visit from the Newcastle Jets, again at this venue on Tuesday night. They went down 5-0 in that one. I know a couple of the older guys were rested, but ahead of this kind of game, Steve, as a coach, do you think that's going to be beneficial for these players, or is that something you'd rather have got out there and given them some game time in training situation?
Look, I don't think it'll make that much difference in the long run. They would have trained on Tuesday anyway. They've got a decent hit out. They've given the older players, as you say, a little bit of a freshen up, so they're not going to be bothered by it. They had a run on Thursday night as well, so they've had a recovery. So I don't expect that the Tuesday night game against Newcastle is going to have any real effect on this.
Well, the team's just waiting to come out onto the field, looking to meet the Blue Devils in the grand final. 2 other Belconnen sides are through to grand finals as of today. Yours, one of them, Steve, your under-18 side, winning 2-1 against Canberra Olympic this morning to book a place in the grand final at 11 o'clock, live on Bar TV Sports next week against Tigers FC.
Yeah, we're still on track to win the double, having won the minor premiership, and the boys did really well this morning.
And Belconnen's under-20s giving Canberra FC a bit of a touch-up in their preliminary final. A 5-0 win for the Blue Devils here. They go on to play Canberra Olympic in the grand final next week. The 2 teams out on the field. Let's take a look at the lineup, starting with Canberra Olympic. Angelo Constantinou in goal. They're back for Tim Bobolas, Nathan Mejic, Phil Yarnold and Bernard Brenet. Daniel Colbertaldo was shield the defence, with Tom McLaughlin and Robbie Catanach just in front of him. Jeremy Habtemariam, Stephen Dominici and Joshua Galevsky, the front 3.
Yeah, it's a decent lineup, isn't it? A couple of changes from last week. They lose Nick Bobolas through injury, and young Adrian McCaw goes out. Timmy Bobolas returns from injury, and Bernie Renee comes in. But it's a strong lineup. They've got a lot of depth in their squad.
Bit more familiar field to Gungahlin as well. Jason Denham in goal, a very good back four. Nick Rathjen at right back, David Jenkins, Reagan Walsh and Jack Green across the backs. Anthony Timotheo will shield that defence as well. Augustine Bangura and Anthony Georgie just in front of him. And their front 3, the 3 goal scorers from last week, Michael Ronaldo, Jason O'Dwyer and Misko Namoski.
Yep, a good lineup as well. Very solid at the back, and as we saw last week, goals in the front half of the pitch. So we're in store for a terrific little game.
The benches, which may come into play obviously later on: Olympic, Adrian Maycor, Michael Reeve, Victor Yanes, Michael John and Jack Petit, the goalkeeper. And for Gungahlin, Yusuf Mohammed, Liam Walsh, James Benevento, Sam Shubbolt and Frano Blazevic. So a little bit more experience on that Olympic bench.
Yeah, they've obviously the last time we saw them play, they had a few players misses, and they're back, and the bench and both benches will play a part today.
The referee today is Greg Taylor. He's had A-League experience, of course. Alex McConaughey and Nia Southwell are his linesman, and Gary Vanderbert is the 4th official. So Olympic in the blue shorts and white socks, about to kick us off. We're hoping, as we said, for a high-scoring, eventful match. These games can be cagey affairs, can't they, Steve? Yeah,
they can. But just before we start, can I just give a shout out to Tom Jadrick and Claudia Plumley? They're on the way up the highway to Sydney with the CUA boys. If you get a chance, boys, have a look at the Danny Maycor futsal video.
The Danny Maycor futsal video? Danny Maycor, what a legend he was.
Fantastic little player.
So we're underway in the prelim final, and it's Canberra Olympic attacking our goal to the left in the first half, and we'll expect them to try and get on the front foot as soon as they can in this match. Catanach gets his first touch of the afternoon and gets it back from Bernard Rene. Little Gillespie. Nice little ball round the corner as well from Dominici, but Gungahlin able to stop that attack in its tracks. Now here's Georgie and Rathjen. A lot on Nick Rathjen today at fullback.
Yeah, unfamiliar spot from him. But last time we saw him play, he was playing in that role.
So the back header there from Mejic, and he's just got the legs to reach Angelo Constantinou with Michael Ronaldo lurking.
I think just a couple of minutes to settle the nerves, and both teams will get into this.
Well, Rene switches it across field looking for Tim Bobolas, and across there quickly was Jack Green, the Gungahlin skipper, to take it off his toes. You can feel something in the air though today, can't you, Steve? It's got that feel of finals football about it. Obviously it's the winner takes all, extra time and penalties if required.
Well, for one of these teams, season finishes today, so they'll both be giving it everything they've got. Olympic, of course, are defending champions from last year, and the year before they won the grand final. They've been the benchmark for the competition.
Well, Bobolas looking for Dominici in the first corner off the head of Regan Walsh. You'd expect Phil Yarnold and Nathan Mejic to make their way up into the Gungahlin penalty area. We watched Gungahlin the other week, Stephen. They're very good offensively on corners. They were against Canberra FC, but defensively they've got to watch out here because Olympic have got some big boys.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that set plays can play a role today, but I would expect that both teams will be well aware of the threat posed by each other.
Well, McLaughlin swings it in towards the back post. He's going to drop for Magic on the right foot, chips it back over towards goal, and scores early on for Canberra Olympic. Nathan Magic with his unfamiliar right foot just lofts it back over the head of Jason Denham, and Olympic have a dream start. It's 1-0.
Well, if you wanted a fast start, they've got it. A lovely finish. I think Nathan Denham will probably be a little disappointed that he's been caught off his line, and the Gungahlin defenders will be looking at each other and wondering why he wasn't picked up.
Well, Magic usually associated with his left foot. Beautiful chip there. He just weighted it to perfection, lifted it over the head of Denham in the goal. And Olympic off to an absolute flyer, and not the start that Marcel Muniz and his team would have wanted.
No, it's really important now that Gungahlin settle. Try and get a few passes together. They're not out of the game by any stretch of the imagination at 1-0, but they do need to sort of pick themselves up.
Well, big games call for big goals, and that is an absolute cracker from the centre-back to get his team underway. Finesse of a centre-forward rather than a centre-back, Steve, to be fair, on that finish.
Yeah, it was a lovely finish. I mean, very calm, very composed. Saw the keeper off his line, floated it over his head and into the back of the net. Great finish.
So Olympic on the front foot immediately, 3 minutes in, leading 1-0 thanks to that goal from Magic. What have Gungahlin got in response? Here's Rathjen. Finds Walsh. And switches it to Green. Bit of space for Jack Green. Just lifts it forward, and there's plenty of runners here, and Yarnold has to get back to get in front of Bangura. But Gungahlin have committed 3 or 4 shirts forward into that attack. Timotheu. Bangura after it again. He's definitely got the pace on Yarnold, but Yarnold's years of experience help him out there. Here's Rene. And a good response from Gungahlin on the front foot straight away. Yeah,
Marcel Muniz will be looking for a fast response from him, and the fact that they've been able to create a little bit of pressure will give him some encouragement.
Looking at the lineups beforehand, Stephen, we're looking at that back four from Olympic, very experienced and very strong, but perhaps not the quickest.
I think that's where Gungahlin can catch him on the counter, where certainly through the middle and in the right back spot, the left back spot, they do lack a little bit of pace.
Here's Habtemariam. Finds Katnach. Back to Habtemariam again. He's had a haircut for the game.
Didn't recognise him.
Cole Bataldo, that's a beautiful ball out wide to Bobolis. He's got a bit of room in which to manoeuvre. Back to Galevsky. Scored last week, but he can't get away from his marker on this occasion. And it's the experience of Green again. But he's underhit that one and lucky to get a throw off Tom McLaughlin. 2 former Belconnen players there, Steve.
Yeah, there's a few out there today. Jack Green, of course, he's former Belconnen boy. McLaughlin, as you say. Bernie Rene's another.
Well, each time we've done Gungahlin this season, Jack Green has been in absolute imperious form, and you get the feeling he'll need to be again today. Here's Georgie looking to slide that one through from O'Dwyer, and he was onside, but the pass was slightly overhit. But warning signs for Olympic.
They've responded well. Gungahlin have responded well, and the early setback hasn't put them off their game at all.
Constantinus. Kick finds Habtemariam. His touch lets him down a little though. Bobolis just lets it roll out for the throw. McLaughlin. Magic, the goal scorer, sends that one forward, but the flag is up. And on this occasion, Dominici is offside. So with 13 goals in those 2 games we spoke earlier, Steve, it's got the feeling like there might be plenty more today.
Well, the way it started, you would suggest that's the case.
Dominici harrying Walsh, and he's won the ball off him and got his team a throw in an advanced position. Here's Kadnach. Habtemariam and Colbertaldo combined to find Rene out on this left-hand side. Olympic looking in ominous form going forward again. Here's Habtemariam. Rolls it off to McLaughlin. Out wide again to Bobolis. Looking perhaps for a shooting opportunity, but they've overworked it, over-elaborated a little bit, and in the end McLaughlin can only kick that one out.
If Jack Green's the glue that holds Gungahlin together, then Kadanak and Colbertaldo do exactly the same thing for Olympic, and if Gungahlin don't come to terms with those 2 players in midfield, they're in for a long afternoon.
Well, there's a bit of wind going from right to left across this ground. You can see it by the flags on that far hand side, so maybe that had something to do with Magic's chip as well, deceiving Denham a little bit. Beautifully executed though from Nathan Medjic. If you just tuned in live on Bar TV Sports, it's 1-0 to Canberra Olympic, and here they are on the attack again with Katnach exchanging passes. Habta Merriam one-on-one, slides it to his right, but it was picked off by Timotheu, who came back to cover. But they look on good form going forward. Here's Nomoski. Can he chip a ball into the path of Ronaldo, who's got away from Yarnold? Has to come back on himself though, and finds Green on that left foot, swings the ball in towards the far post. It's going to fall for Georgie, who volleys it back to O'Dwyer, but Medjic is there in a defensive capacity to take it away from the centre forward.
Yeah, nice move both teams, but Jack Green found Georgie in space, and he won't have been better taking a touch.
Nomoski finds Ronaldo. Can he keep this in? This could be a chance, and it's come off the heel of Medjic, and a corner for Gungahlin, who have come back into this one really well after that early concession. And a chance for them to send forward their big players. And we've seen it all season. Jack Green is deadly in this situation, and Olympic, of course, will know all about that.
Yeah, they will. I mean, they would have seen the game against Canberra FC when Jack Green scored the winner a few weeks ago, and they'll be well aware of the threat he poses.
Georgie swings it towards the far post, looking for Green, who's beaten in the air on this occasion by Medjic. There was the threat, though. Good ball from young Anthony Georgie as well.
Yeah, just needs a little bit more pace on it. It floats in like that, you back the defenders to win it.
Well, Rathjen will keep the pressure on with the throw. Here's O'Dwyer. Back to Rathjen again, still in play. Nutmegs Rene, good chance here for Gungahlin, but Daniel Colbertaldo does what Daniel Colbertaldo has been doing all season. He shields the ball so well. Goes under the radar a lot, the central midfielder, but he makes his team tick.
He's had an excellent season. The last 2 years he's probably been amongst the best players in the competition, and when it comes awards night, I'm sure he'll figure prominently in the Player of the Year.
It's a big Aj Constantinu with the goal kick. Got to do the draw for the FFA Cup this year, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Might have seen him on Fox Sports. Olympics FFA Cup run this year stymied at the first hurdle by Sorrento over in Perth, although they played very well. They went down 1-0, did everything but score.
Apparently, I didn't see the game, but apparently they were a tad unlucky.
Yeah, I did watch it, and they were the dominant side for most of it, but congratulations on that occasion to Sorrento, who got the results. But more finals football for Olympic, no matter what happens here today. They're going to be playing in 2 weeks' time here against the champions of Northern New South Wales in the NPL final series.
Yeah, I think that's Edgeworth, is it?
I think it's Edgeworth Eagles, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that will be an interesting test for them to see where Canberra football really is at. Northern New South Wales, obviously not as strong as Metropolitan New South Wales, but it'll give us a look at how far we've progressed.
Well, it's the first time that's happened. Most of the times it's been away games against Sydney opposition from the New South Wales Premier League. That's what the draw used to be in the NPL finals. They set it up that way for geographical reasons when the competition started off, but now it was a free draw and a chance for Olympic perhaps to get into the semi-finals if they can get past Edgeworth.
Yeah.
But before that, of course, lots of football to be played here and next week for Olympic if they get to go through and play the Blue Devils. Here's Colbertaldo winning the ball in midfield away from Georgie, who brings him down and concedes the free kick. Good little battle that's going to be, that midfield quartet.
I thought Colbertaldo went down a little bit easy there. He might just have foxed the referee.
I think Greg Taylor's reasonably experienced now. Seen a lot of football, a lot of levels. That wasn't a great free kick from Rene though, and it's Regan Walsh bringing it forward. Here is Georgie. Back to Timotheu. Green again. His clip ball forward. Medjic has read it though. Got there ahead of Ronaldo. And looks to start an attack the other way. Here's McLaughlin. Dominici, who's had a fairly quiet opening 10 minutes by his standards.
Apparently did very well against Newcastle in the week. Ernie Merrick was singing his praises in the local media.
Well, Gillespie does really well there to win the ball away from Walsh, who snaps back at his heels and wins it. Yeah, Stephen Dominici, quality player. Perhaps Ernie Merrick should stop singing his praises and sign him up.
Yeah, well, that would be the real test, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be the great news. That's what we all want from all these boys in Canberra, that show a lot of potential to get a shot at that level if they can.
Dominici can be dormant almost for 90 minutes and then spring up and he's going to bag you a goal or two.
Well, as you said, from a player who scored 27 goals this season. It's a long ball forward from Constantine. there hasn't been a player that scored 30 in a season, I think, since Derek Ullman at Woden Valley.
Yeah.
A couple of about 5 or 6 years ago now, probably, and that was in a longer season as well.
That's right. Yeah. So 27 in 18 games. It's a really good effort, isn't it?
Yeah, 18 league matches and the one last week as well. So if he can grab 3 over the next 2 weeks, he'll break that 30-goal barrier, which would be an incredible achievement in only 20 matches. But Gungahlin have plenty to say about that before that could happen. Here's Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
George's pass isn't good though, and it's picked off by Habtemariam. Now Colbertaldo will start Olympic going forward again. Gillespie keeps it in play. Now Katanach. Again Walsh does brilliantly to read that one, and off he goes forwards looking to break quickly. Bangura, who's impressed us a couple of times this season, and Ronaldo, a bit of space in which to move, and he's got pace and an eye for goal. Michael Ronaldo, will he take on Magic? Goes past him really well, but it's good defending in the end by Tim Bobolas to clear it away, but danger signs once more, and Ronaldo looks a tricky customer.
Yeah, wonderful run. He's beaten his first man, and good cover from Timmy Bobolas to make sure that the ball's cleared. But that's the sort of thing they need from Ronaldo. They need to get him on the ball and running at people.
Well, they certainly settled after that early disappointment of conceding. Jenkins and Walsh again. Marcel Munoz has done a brilliant job with this group, hasn't he, Steve? To be fair, you can't really say too much about him that's not been said already this season, but he's done really well with this group of players.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, they're genuine top 4 contenders, where most people had them finish them in the bottom half. They've played a lovely brand of football, and yet realistically they've sort of taken the place of some of the more established teams in the top 4.
Well, they wouldn't have figured, as we said at the top of the broadcast, they wouldn't have figured in too many people's mix-up at the end of the season, but here they are, and they've certainly been the form side, I think, over the last few months of the season in terms of results.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've taken points off Olympic, Centre of Excellence, beaten Canberra FC, been to Griffith and won.
Yeah, beat Canberra FC twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not many teams do that.
No, not over the last 10 years.
They've beaten them 3 times this season. I think before when we did the game over at Gungahlin in close, they hadn't beaten them twice in the season before, but they managed to achieve that feat. And then they made it a treble as Rathjen tries to go past Rene, just balks him right in front of Alex McConaughey, the linesman there, and he decides there's no free kick. Didn't impress the Gungahlin fans, but they've got the ball back, a rather circuitous route. And in the end, it's a throw in front of us, but could have been called that one, Steve.
Yeah, I think he tried to milk it a little bit, but you see them give them, don't you?
But Alex McConaughey was right on the spot in his defence. I'm talking of right on the spot, sends Bernard Rene back about 5 or 6 metres to take the throw in. Gillespie challenging with Rathjen. Timotheo. Green again. Gets an awful lot of ball, doesn't he, Jack Green?
Yeah. I think if Olympic are wise, they'll try and get him onto his right foot. He's superb with his left.
There's Timotheo, he's coming into the game more as well, finding pockets of space, but his pass is a bit short there, and McLaughlin's picked his pocket and off they go. Gillespie comes back, but Jason O'Dwyer, who works really hard to come across and get a toe in. Try not to let Olympic settle and create this passing game that they're so famous for.
I think since the goal, Gungahlin have probably had the better of it in terms of possession, but Olympic do look very, very good going forward.
Dominici and Katanach exchanging passes around the edge of the area. Here is Dominici. This looks dangerous. Passes a little bit behind Colbertaldo. It's picked up by Bobolas. Habtemariam. Bobolas again. Advancing in towards the penalty. Has taken a deflection. Dominici might get in here, but Denham's come out well. And just for the striker, Gungahlin looking for a flag, which didn't come.
No, and those are the sorts of little darty runs that Dominici's done all year, just taking him in behind the back 4 and posing a threat. Well done, Denham. That
was beautifully taken down by O'Dwyer to get his team on the front foot again. And Georgie swings the ball towards Green, who takes on Bobolas. They go down in a pile, and Greg Taylor's blown the whistle and given a free kick to Canberra Olympic.
A fairly agricultural challenge, I thought, then, from Mr. Green.
You could see what he was trying to do. Didn't really come off for him, and
no.
Bobolas didn't get out of the way. A free kick.
Gungahlin will get some reward out of getting both of their fullbacks forward, and we've seen Rathjen on this side with a little nutmeg and no Jack Green getting forward. If they can get more of that and then get some decent service into the penalty area for O'Dwyer, they're a chance of pegging this lead back.
Well, you're watching PS4 MPL preliminary final live. Here's a chance pass from Bangura. Can he get in there? Constantin comes out. Both players slide in, and the big goalkeeper has got a boot in. And that was some hesitant defending from Nathan Mejic, and his goalkeepers rescued him there. And Bangura was in on him straight away. We played 18 minutes here live on Bar TV Sports. It's Canberra Olympic 1, Gungahlin United 0 in the PS4 MPL preliminary final in Canberra. And it's Gungahlin on the front foot with Green, throwing it into the air, flicked on by O'Dwyer towards Ronaldo. It's going to come back to O'Dwyer, sends it across the 6-yard box, and combination of Olympic defenders, and in the end Bobolas got it away. And this is where the dangerous Steve on the break.
Yeah. Well,
big call against Walsh for handball there, but I think it's a throw.
The speed of the transition from Olympic is really impressive, and it's not as if they just welly it and go. They really try and play constructive football out of the back.
It's almost like at times they're just saying to Gungahlin, yes, come on, we'll just take you on the break. They've got the goal lead. Here's Katnach looking to reverse pass through towards Dominici. Good idea, didn't quite come off for him though. Dominici does have it now though. He's got Habtemariam outside him, but he can't find him. And Bangura can start something for Gungahlin, but Green kicks it out because Miško Namoski is down in a heap.
And not happy about it by all accounts.
He thinks he was caught there. Greg Taylor having none of it.
He might have had a case. I think he was just caught from behind.
Maybe the Olympic have got away with one there. Nothing's come of it anyway, so we'll start again with Jason Denham. Beaten after 3 minutes with a beautiful chip from Nathan Mejic.
The only realistic chance so far.
And taken, as we said, like a seasoned centre forward.
With some aplomb.
Beautiful goal to give Olympic the advantage. But since then, Gungahlin have come back into it and are playing some good stuff and looking dangerous. Here's Bangura. McLaughlin muscles him off the ball. And he finds Rene. Now Gillespie tries to turn Rathjen. He gets a foot in. And in the end, Rene sends it forward. But it's picked up by a yellow shirt again. They've certainly had the better of it, Steve, since the goal.
Yeah, in terms of possession, they've done really well. Been a good response.
Walsh finds Jenkins. Rathjen tries to take on Gillespie. It's a dangerous game in that position.
Yeah, decision making's important in a game like this, and that was a poor one.
Well, young player, I'm sure he'll learn from his mistakes. That's a good switch of play from Rene to Bobolas. Now Habtemariam. Beautiful turn for Jeremy Habtemariam, and looked to slide the ball through, but it was cleared, and back they come again though with Bobolas. Habtemariam and Colbertaldo. Nowhere to go for Daniel Colbertaldo there, and good pressing from Gungahlin in defence.
Yeah, I think if they can sort of get Jason O'Dwyer to play a little deeper when they're defending and pick up Colbertaldo, he's just picking up too much second ball when they come out of the defensive phase. And if they can get O'Dwyer or one of the two attacking midfielders to sit a little bit deeper, they might get some joy.
Green sends a throw forward, but which Bangura wins in the air. It's going to fall for Georgie. Now Timotheo. Rathjen looks to play the ball in the channel, but Ronaldo, I think, had strayed 2 or 3 yards offside and probably would have been flagged had he gone for that. In the end, it's a throw.
But that's a better thought from young Rathjen, rather than trying to dwell on it. Playing it down the line like that when he's under pressure is a better option.
Well, Rene will take this throw in. Up towards Katnach. It's going to come for Dominici, who plays it round the corner to Katnach. He's got a Timotheo making sure he doesn't go too far. Dominici again, one-on-one with Jenkins. Rathjen comes to help as well, and the combination of the Gungahlin defenders see him off. Namoski tries to keep possession, but he can only give it away to Habtemariam, and here comes Colbertaldo. Plays it back for Katnach. Colbertaldo again, dances past a challenge. They look dangerous when they're getting into those positions on the edge of the area. Here's Gillespie. Thought about the shot. Finds Habtemariam instead. just a little bit too intricate around the edge of the penalty area.
Yeah, I like the way their attempts though. I think it's a good way to play. Get those combinations working. They will cause Gungahlin problems.
Rathjen again looks for the ball in that channel towards Ronaldo. He's got the pace on Yarnold, as we said. Chance perhaps to swing this one in towards O'Dwyer, who got in front of his marker, but the ball was slightly too high for him. But again, Ronaldo showing good skills.
I think he's worrying Phil Yarnold. It feels heavily bandaged his left knee. He does lack a little bit of pace as he gets into the veteran stage of his career, and Ronaldo is lightning quick.
Well, the front three have been scoring the majority of the goals for Gungahlin this year. Jason O'Dwyer with 8, Ronaldo with 7, and Miško Nomoski with 6 heading into this game. So it's a good spread.
Yep.
And they'll need 1, if not 2 of those to get on the score sheet today if they're to make their way through to their first grand final at this level.
Well, certainly after conceding the early goal, they've settled better, and their football has been as constructive as their opposition, so they won't be too discouraged about the way the game's gone.
Bangura, it's a little bit of a loose header, but he's got it back. He clips that ball forward for Ronaldo again, but Yarnold's in the way, and away come Olympic. Rene has a bit of space, but that's asking an awful lot from Galeski. Probably a left-footed pass there from Bernard Rene. May have got Galeski in. Right
option, poor execution. Just picking up too much second ball, Olympic, for my liking. They're going to, if they settle on it, they'll cause too many problems for Gungahlin to see the game out.
We're just past the midway point in the first half. Olympic leading by that early goal from Nathan Medjic. If you've just tuned in live on Bar TV Sports, enjoying this preliminary final. Belconnen United sat at home with their feet up. I'm sure Dini Grinnick's here somewhere in the crowd watching prospective finalists, but they've got the week off, of course, waiting for the winner of this at McKellar Park next week.
I'm sure Dean will be hoping that this goes to extra time and penalties, and there's a couple of injuries and send-offs and God knows what else, but Belconnen did really well last week, and they'll be looking forward to next week's final.
It should be a big occasion, especially for those of a Blue Devils tinge. There's 3 finalists already there. Here's McLaughlin. And of course with Belconnen's women's team doing so well at all their grades as well, so it's a good season for them. Here's Dominici getting away into the penalty area. The flag's up there for offside.
Actually a chance to get the other underage teams in tomorrow. They're playing their semi-finals tomorrow, and if they can win, they'll be in the grand final too. So it's been a great year for Belconnen.
Must be with a shout of the club championship then, Steve, if they've got so many,
should go close.
so many teams in finals. Good time to be a Belconnen United fan.
This needs a bit of a spark, Ross. This game's just gone a bit flat.
As you said, lots of possession from Gungahlin, no real penetration at the top end of the park though. They need one of those strikers, or perhaps a late running run from Bangura like we've seen before this season. Here's Katanach. McLaughlin, Bangura gets a foot in, but McLaughlin gets there ahead of him and finds Galeski. He goes past Rathjen. Can he deliver with his left foot? In towards a near post, it's a flick on, it's going to drop for Habtemarian perhaps. He pulls it back into the danger area, but Jason Dedham is down to gather, and a half chance at the near post. I think it was Dominici who made the run across goal.
Yeah. Just got a little flick on it and made a better contact into trouble, Denham.
But when they're coming again, Olympic, the ball's been given away, and Bobolus has made the run into a danger area. The ball strikes the back of the retreating Timotheo though, and it goes out for a corner. And each time they get an overload down that right hand side, they look good out wide.
Yeah, they do. Bobolus bombs forward. That's his main game. But Gungahlin, having said that they've enjoyed a lot of possession, they're just starting to turn it over a little bit now.
Well, they scored from the corner from this side the last time. Medjic has gone to the same position. McLaughlin looks for him on the far post, and it's flicked away by O'Dwyer. Medjic keeps it in and then wins himself a throw. That's obviously something they've worked on, looking for Medjic coming in on the far post.
Yeah, they do the same with Timmy Bobolus from corners from the other side. They try and get Bobolus in at the far post as well, and he's very good in the air for a little man.
Well, as well as being able to chip goalkeepers, Medjic has got a big throw. Let's see what he can do here. Flings that one into the penalty, and it bounces dangerously in the 6-yard box. No one got a touch on it, and Dedham read it, and he'll look to get his team up going forward again. Georgie, who's looked lively and played some good passes today, looks for Green, which tends to be the out ball. Movement isn't great for Jack Green at the moment, so he has to wait for O'Dwyer to run in behind, but Yarnold uses his years of experience to win that one and then gives it away to Bangura, but Magic did just enough to get a foot in. Otherwise that could have been a chance. Here's Namoski. Now Georgie. Again, it's bobbleless this time. Nice little pass, 1-2 between Habtemariam. If he could touch that ball away from it, the run of Reagan Walsh. Habtemariam loves these kind of positions. Has to come in field though. Gungahlin, a lot of space for Renee on this far side, on this near side to us. Clipped into the air towards Habtemariam, but Denham's come unfetched again. Not a chance to catch breath. He's going from end to end without really having an end product.
No, that's what it's lacking at the moment. There's been some intricate midfield play, but
Rathjen again has played the ball down the channel again. Ronaldo's got goal side. Magic played him on. Chance perhaps for Gungahlin. Into the area goes Ronaldo, spins it across the penalty area, but Magic's foot was in the way, and Ronaldo can't get the ball under control, and Rene just slams it upfield towards Dominici, who's 1 against 4. Brings it down, looks to take on Reagan Walsh, who gets a foot in. But that ball down the channel, Steve, that's 3 or 4 times now that Rathjen's put Ronaldo in, and Olympic struggling to stop that one.
Yeah, that's, they can draw Bernie Rene out of the back 4 and then play in behind him. They're a chance, aren't they? That's where Ronaldo's making his runs, going inside, coming back out. Looks dangerous.
He fancies himself against Yarnold in a foot race, doesn't he? Well,
yeah,
why not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's certainly got the beaten of him in terms of pace.
Probably giving him half his age, probably, isn't he?
Very close. Yeah, very close.
Enough. Phil Yarnold, been very experienced, been around for a long time. He's Habtemariam into the penalty area. Walsh needs to be careful. Yeah, Yarnold's with Tigers as well. Had a good spell with them before coming to Olympic.
Another former Belconnen player as well. Played his early days with Belconnen. Phil.
It's Namoski. Space for Green. 2 shirts to aim for in the middle. Dwyer comes in on the far post, but it's too long, and Rene can pick it up, and this is where Olympic look dangerous in the transition. Katnach, can he start something quick? Goes back to Rene. Now there's space for Habtemariam. They've worked that one out nicely.
Yeah, Gungahlin just lose the shape when they go forward. They don't have anybody in what is more recently referred to as rest defence, and that's given an Olympic a chance to break.
Colbertaldo looked for Katnach, but Rathjen intercepted. Frankesha looking to get his side on the front foot. I'm sure he'll be looking for a second goal before half-time if they can get one. Katnach, that's a lovely looking ball, but Green's read it and headed it clear. It's going to fall for Colbertaldo. Still going, Daniel Colbertaldo. Now Rene. Onto the right foot. Katnach. Colbertaldo again. Once more though, the move falls down.
Once again, Russ, like you were saying before, just overplaying a little bit.
Dwyer back to Rathjen. Georgie switches it. And came across was Gillespie. It's going to fall for Green though. Was caught upfield, but this worked out to his advantage. Walsh is up there too, and he's lost out to Colbertaldo, and off they go. Run is from Dominici, but it hits him on the back, and Green starts things again. Huge amount of space for Anthony Georgie to clip a ball towards Ronaldo, brings it down, and if he could just have got a ball under control there. Dwyer was in acres of space. There's warning signs for Olympic as Habtemariam picks it up.
Absolutely. Both teams allowing the game to get spread, and very early in the game for that. I would have thought that both would have sought to be a little bit more compact.
Well, off goes Habtemariam looking for Dominici, but Jenkins is the player to get the interception on this occasion. Bangura, there's a real flow to it, but no real end product at the end, as we said. Here's Rathjen looking to change that. Bangura and Georgie.
It's better.
Now Namoski. Worked it well. Walsh comes back in field to Georgie again, who's got lots of room. Rathjen to Timotheo. Rene saw the step over, but gives it immediately away to Jenkins. And Gungahlin having heaps of ball. Can they create something from it? Here's Ronaldo. cutting into the right foot. Wouldn't mind the shot, but he's not got hold of that at all, and it's trickled its way through to Constantine. But Steve, lots and lots of possession for Gungahlin.
Yeah, a lot of it's a bit sideways backwards, and they can afford to actually take a few risks and play forward, be a little bit more positive certainly when they pick it up in high areas on the pitch.
But if there's any negative thoughts that went through their heads when they were 1-0 down after 3 minutes, they seem to have dissipated fairly quickly.
Yeah, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They've had a good run coming into the final series, so there's no reason why they shouldn't be confident. And some of the football's been good. They've enjoyed a decent amount of possession. They've just got to start creating a few chances for themselves.
Up to Merriam finds Katnach with his throw. Jenkins lofts that one forward. An aerial duel between Rene and O'Dwyer falls nicely for the goal scorer Megic. And he finds Bobolas in front of the stand over there. And that pass from Gilevsky is poor, and it's been picked off by Ronaldo. It's 3-on-3 at the moment. Gilevsky comes back to help. Georgie has it. Long way from goal though. Now Namoski, who's played a lot deeper than I expected. Here's Green. Nowoski goes outside him looking for the return ball and gets it, pulls it in, was caught a little bit late there I think by Bobolas, but he's got away with that one. And Miško Namoski, as I said, Steve, playing a lot deeper than we actually thought. Yeah, he is. I think he's trying to tuck inside, play a little bit deeper to let Green get outside him and use the space to get it on his left foot. They're a bit unfortunate there. Just the timing of the pass from Jack Green into Miško as he made the run around, they might have created a little bit more out of that. Well, there's 12 minutes to half-time, live on Bar TV Sports. Olympic leading this preliminary final in Canberra by 1-0. Early goal after 3 minutes from Nathan Megic. They're looking to add to that now as Habtemarian takes on Rathjen, but he's done really well, the young defender, to rob the winger. And again, that ball into this channel of this near side, and O'Dwyer's the one that's made the run this time. Rathjen supporting. He started this move. And he wins himself a free kick in a dangerous position, almost on the edge of the D and on the edge of the area. But good move that from Gungahlin again, Steve, utilising that channel. Absolutely, they're getting a lot of joy down this right-hand side, in behind Bernie Rene. Phil Yarnell's just not got the pace to actually get across and cover. When Namoski will line up this free kick, he's got Jenkins in the middle, Jet Green is on the far post, and Dwyer's there too. Timotheo on the penalty spot. I think this one will be dropped in somewhere on the edge of the 6-yard box. Will Constantino come and get it? What can Namoski deliver with this left foot? This is a good attacking position for Gungahlin. Waiting for the referee's whistle. Namoski swings that one in, but it's a poor delivery in the end. And he'll be disappointed with himself for that, because that was a great chance to put some pressure. Yeah. If you're going to drop that on the edge of the 6-yard box, make life difficult for the goalkeeper. It's a long way back for the two central defenders and Jack Green that have come up to try and win that. And you don't beat the first defender. It's at this level probably not good enough. Yeah, Namoski's better than that as well. We've seen him deliver some decent balls with his left foot in the past. I'm sure he'll get an opportunity to make amends later. Dwyer's made the run from the throw for Rathjen. Got it back as well. Crossing opportunity in towards Ronaldo. Unfortunately for Gungahlin, that was the wrong way round. They probably wanted Jason O'Dwyer in that position and Ronaldo out wide. Good penetration again down this right hand side. They're doing pretty well. Got themselves a corner. Those players that Steve mentioned will jog back up as Georgie will look to find them. Once again, the heavy artillery is in there as Georgie swings it towards Green, who wins the header but can't direct it goalwards, and it's out for a goal kick. You don't necessarily as a defender have to win the ball in the air, but you do have to put the pressure on the target, and that's what Olympic did then pretty well. Yeah, and as you said, it needs to be a bit of a flatter delivery to enable Green to attack it from that range as well, because it needs to be a good header to beat Angelo Constantino in any respect, but it needs to be a really good one from out there. Yeah. Bobolas wins that flick on. It's Habtemarian back to the fullback. They exchange passes really well and very quickly. It's out to Rene. Now Gilevsky comes in field, but Bangura's across there again. And Georgie sends that one forward, and the flag's going to go up against Jason O'Dwyer. One of those decisions again, Steve, that you have to wait for him to move towards the ball. It's one of those annoying ones for football fans, isn't it?
It is. I mean, if the assistant referee stands still, you know what's going to happen.
You know it's going to happen, which makes you wonder why he doesn't flag it.
You might as well.
May as well, exactly.
But that's the interpretation, that's the rule.
One of those bizarre rules that, like I said, annoys a lot of football fans. That's a long ball forward from Jarno. Gillespie's got in behind here, and for a minute he was clean through on goal, and he couldn't control the shot, and it trickled through to Denham. But what a good opportunity for Gillespie, and what a ball from Jarnold. Just
caught square again a little bit, the Gungahlin back four. And that's what happens when you have
Green's
an inexperienced right back.
Well, Green's looking for Namoski, and across goes Megic. Well, that's a bit heavy from Nathan Megic, and he recovers it with Constantinou, and here's Katnach. Ball spins away from him like a Shane Warne leg break. Here's Georgie, and Jarnold's probably a little bit less cultured on that occasion with that clearance.
Yeah, I think he's just feeling the pressure a little bit, Phil. I mean, he's such a solid defender that he's you're going to have to do really well to beat him, but he's just a little bit aware of the pace that's in and around him.
A bit of strapping on that left leg as well, it looks like from here, Steve, as well, just you can see under the shorts. So maybe that's causing him a bit of problems. Here's Jenkins.
He certainly missed a large part of the season with a knee injury.
It's Namoski. Rathjen goes past Rene again. Gillespie looks to come and deal with him, and there's a bit of a coming together, and it's a free kick to Gungahlin once more, and another dangerous position, and perhaps here's a chance of that redemption for Namoski I was talking about just a moment ago.
Yeah, I mean, they need quality service. I mean, they've got aerial strike power, so they need good service from situations like that. It's just another opportunity for them to take advantage of.
Well, again, Jenkins goes forward with Green and Dwyer, and again Namoski lines this one up about 4 metres or so away from where the last one was, near enough. Probably a better angle as well, so chance to drop this one into a danger area and see what they can get out of it. 7 minutes or so to half time. It's a better delivery this time from Namoski. It's deep though, looking for Green on the far post, and Megic's just muscled him out the way and used all of his nous to win a goal kick.
I guess there was a fighting chance that he would overcompensate given his last one, and he probably has there.
That was a ball they're looking for Green once more. Constantinou has not done well there, and here's O'Dwyer. Real opportunity for Jason O'Dwyer if he can find Ronaldo. Clear in front of goal, and he's got that one horribly wrong. It's bounced off his shin rather than him turning it towards goalwards, and Angelo Constantinou contrite with his hand in the air. He's got away big time that time.
Oh, they've dodged one. They've dodged a bullet there. Lack of composure in the middle of the penalty area. Really should be 1-1.
I think in Ronaldo's defence he was probably expecting O'Dwyer to shoot. I wasn't expecting the ball across the penalty area towards him, but the young striker, who's looked quite lively, had an opportunity there to level the scores.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the penalty area, you've got to expect the ball to come at your feet at some stage, and you've got to stay on your toes, and he just looked to rush that a little bit, and in the end he's made quite a mess of it.
And Olympic looking to make Gungahlin immediately pay. They've won a corner at the other end, which Gungahlin lines up once more. Same lineup in the area as they had when they scored, but it's come back to Katnach, who's got that one wrong as well. Robbie Katnach, that was terrible. But a little bundle out the way on Bangira, looked like a foul. It's been given by Taylor. Don't see what they were trying to do with that corner. Was Katnach supposed to sweep that one towards the far post?
I think so, yeah. I think he's just mishit it. I mean, it's not a bad move because the defence have to start pushing out, but he's not made the right contact. And referee just spoiled a little break there for Gungahlin as well, making them take the free kick again.
Greg Taylor suggesting it wasn't in the right spot, so bringing them back. Here's Jenkins.
Moved it a metre.
Yeah, you've got to be spot on, Steve. You know this. Ball forwards. Bobolus has got the foot in, and here's Habtemeriam. And his right foot ping ball out towards Dominici, brings it down in his stride. Off he goes towards goal. Stephen Dominici into the penalty area, gets it onto that right foot. Can he get a shot away? Dominici can, but it lacked the power to test Jason Denham. But Dominici once more showing his skills.
You know, he's surrounded by yellow shirts and he's still got a shot away there. Good player.
At the other end, small space for O'Dwyer, for Green rather, who's made the run from fullback. Can he get it into the penalty area? He can't. It's deflected off Bobolus and it's a corner, but Gungahlin getting some joy down both flanks. Yeah, absolutely. Could have done with a run to the near post then, Jack. He got into a really good spot. This one is team a corner. For the umpteenth time in this first half, they'll send The big guns up there, looking for a better delivery. Magic is, I said, just Magic is following Green wherever he goes off these corners.
Yeah, but for the goal, you wouldn't think that Gungahlin were losing, would you?
Certainly wouldn't. And here's Georgie swinging it in, looking for Magic, who goes Green, who goes down under the challenge of Magic. A bit soft though. It was called for a penalty, it's not given, and Bangira goes thumping into the challenge on Magic, and that this time the centre back is penalised. And another free kick in a dangerous position, and you wouldn't say Olympic are on the back foot, but they're certainly being made to work for this so far. And they've got a little sloppy towards the end of this first half. A couple of misplaced passes and no urgency to clear the ball. They're just sort of inviting Gungahlin to take advantage of these opportunities from free kicks. Well, I think I saw Marcel Munoz then indicate to Mishka Namoski to deliver it a bit flatter on this occasion. Let's see what he can do. And it is certainly that. And a chance for Timotheo, but the flag's gone up. It wouldn't have counted anyway, but that was the delivery that he's wanting. The last 3 or 4 times he's pinged that one in. Absolutely. I mean, one too short, one too long, one just right. Goldilocks. Unfortunately, Timotheo couldn't get a touch on it, and if he had, it wouldn't have counted anyway because he'd gone just a little too early. But danger for Canberra Olympic, who lead 1-0, and apart from a couple of half-hit efforts that have trickled through to Denham, not look like adding to that at the moment. No, but they want to be on the toes now. I mean, this is when teams become vulnerable. They've got on top a little bit, and Olympic are so good at going forward and catching teams on the break that they want to be at least at this scoreline when the half-time whistle goes in a couple of minutes. Steve, their dominance of the capital football competition over the last couple of years may come into play as well. A lot of experience amongst these boys, been in this kind of situations, having to win games like this before. They know what to do to get themselves over the line. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's where the likes of Kadanak, Dominici, Bobolas... Well, here's Bangira, sorry, and Ronaldo takes it in stride. Ronaldo in the area. It's saved by Constantino. His feet brilliantly done by the goalkeeper, but Ronaldo got in again after Bangira won the ball brilliantly in midfield. And here's a chance at the other end as Dominici goes bursting into the penalty area. Has he got anyone in support? Pulls it back. Real chance for Gillespie. It's saved by the legs of Denham. Full for Rene, whose follow-up is way over the crossbar. Action at both ends. At last the game bursts into life. Hey, great save from Angelo. Very, very unlucky, and you wouldn't have begrudged them an equalise, but like I was saying before, got to be careful on that break. Well, Bangira won the ball in midfield. He's done really well today, and he put Ronaldo in, took it in his stride superbly, and looked for all the world like he was going to go around Constantino, but the big goalkeeper's been there and done it, and he saved well. Times before, yeah. And the transition was so rapid. Dominici's threat was there, and Gillespie didn't quite get hold of the shot, and it was straight at Denham. But great action at both ends, and chance for both teams to score as we reach the shadows of half-time. Magic's under pressure, but he's won himself a throw. And promptly gives it away again. And here's Georgie. Acres of space for him again. Timotheo. Jenkins goes back to Denham. Goalkeeper looks for Namoski, who brilliantly flicks it round the back towards Green. Now space for Green to advance forward. Looking for Ronaldo on the far post. He's peeled away. He's got support with Georgie. Rene's have his work cut out on this near side. Here's Ronaldo looking to take him on again. Tries to go past the big defender and wins inside a corner, and Gungahlin on the front foot, as they have been for most of this second half. Well, it's been overruled by Greg Taylor, who gives a goal kick. That'll disappoint the Gungahlin fans. It will. I thought it was a goal kick. I think the referee's got it right. But they're giving Bernie Rene a bit of a chasing down this side of the park. Well, he certainly knows he's been in a game in this first half. Yeah, he'll sleep tonight. Still 45 minutes plus more, perhaps, to go. And Marcel Munoz will be very encouraged by what he's seen since his team went 1-0 down. They've had opportunities, and they're looking very, 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 very good in the attacking sense. Really important against teams like Olympic, though, when you get dominance, that you actually score. You've got to put it on the scoreboard. Well, Dominici's got away from Jenkins. Good turn from the striker. Waiting for support on this occasion, goes into the area, and Jenkins comes back, and as we enter stoppage time, Olympic will take the final corner, you think, of the first half. There can't be too much time added on. We've played a minute of stoppage time already. McLaughlin will take it. We'll see if Bobolas does do what Steve suggested and drift towards the back post, which he looks like he's doing. Magic's gone in there as well. McLaughlin swings it towards Magic, and it's going to harmlessly guard a play for a goal kick. Referee Greg Taylor looks at his watch and says that's enough at the end of the first half. And Steve, entertaining game. Took a while after the goal to really kick into gear, but we've seen a good match so far.
Yeah, it hit a flat spot midway through the first half, but then burst into life with a couple of chances at each end. Angelo Constantino has been the busier of the two goalkeepers. He almost made a mistake himself with his distribution and let him in, but a very even first half. Gungahlin shading it, I think, but Olympic go into the sheds 1-0 up after a wonderful finish from Magic.
Yeah, Constantino had to be alert on a couple of occasions with Bangura getting in, and Ronaldo fluffed his lines in front of goal once, and then he's had that chance where he's come out and stopped it with his legs. So Gungahlin are creating opportunities, and I think that they weren't doing in that first 25 minutes. And will that please Marcel Munoz as he heads into the break?
I think he'll be impressed with the last 10 or 15 minutes and the way they've gone forward. But like I was saying earlier on, you've got to turn that sort of pressure into goals, and so you'll be a little disappointed that they're still behind, given the chances they have created. But he will be encouraged, and I think if they can sort of maintain the rage, they're a chance of actually getting back into the game.
Well, as the players leave the field for the half-time break, it's that goal from Nathan Magic after 3 minutes, a beautifully crafted lob from a corner that separates the two teams, live on Bar TV Sports at half-time in the PS4 MPL preliminary final here in Canberra. It's Canberra Olympic 1, Gungahlin United 0. So welcome back to Deakin Stadium for the PS4 MPL preliminary final live on Bar TV Sports. Canberra Olympic League, Gungahlin United 1-0. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator for this afternoon. Steve Forshaw is with me in a commentary box. And Steve, the sun's come out at half-time and now we can't see.
Yeah, we'll have to do this by touch.
We're at the back of the stand here at Deakin, and that sunshine is right in our face, which is great. It's probably the same for you viewers at home as well. We'll just run through the sides at the start of the second half. Looking at Olympic first, doesn't look like there's any changes. Constantinu in goal, Bobolas, the goal scorer Magic, Arnold and Rene across their back four. Kobataldo, McLaughlin and Catenacci in midfield, Habtemir and Dominici Gulevski the front three. Looking at Gungahlin United, Denham in goal, Rathjen, Jenkins, Walsh and Green in their back four, Timotheo, Bangira, Georgie in their middle three, Ronaldo, Odoi and Nomoski up front. Steve, I've been kind of surprised by the amount of space that each midfielder's got in that first half. They're not really closing each other down. There's a lot of space. Yeah, there is, and it's working to Olympics' advantage that the ball coming out of either end is falling to their either deep-lying midfielder in Kobataldo or their attacking midfielders in McLaughlin and Cadenac. It's something that Gungahlin have got to come to grips with, and I'm a little surprised that they haven't made a change at half-time. I thought they might have looked to have somebody with a bit more physical presence than young Bangura, and maybe that'll happen as the second half progresses. He's done well in the first half, Bangira, when he's got in and around the players around him, as Jason O'Dwyer gets us underway to start the second half, and Gungahlin, of course, in the yellow shirts, black shorts and black socks, except for goalkeeper Jason Denham, of course, who wasn't overly busy in the first half. He made a couple of half-decent saves with his legs, was beaten by Magic's goal. But the action really was at the other end, and Constantinu had to be alert on a couple of occasions. Here's O'Dwyer making a great run in between Magic and Arnold and getting his side in for a chance. And comes Ronaldo, and that was a brilliant chance in the first 2 minutes, 2 seconds or so in the second half, and Ronaldo's rather fluffed his lines again. Yeah, but I guess they'll take some confidence that they're creating the chances, but really that should have been the equaliser. Great ball down the line from Green, wonderful run from O'Dwyer, great cross, and the only thing missing was the finish. He got a head on it, but not anywhere near enough to trouble Constantinu, and he'll look at the fact that he's had 2 or 3 good chances this afternoon, Michael Ronaldo. Timotheo at the other end is giving it away, and here's a real chance for Dominici, and Walsh has to come across and win it off his toe, and a bit slack defending at the start of the second half from both teams. Here's Nomoski. Bangira. That's surely handball against Tim Bobolas, and came out with his arms up. But what a chance. A good run from O'Dwyer into the channels again, which they've done all afternoon. Yeah, fantastic. And, you know, the 2 central defenders just didn't pick up his run from deep at all. I'm sure Michael Ronaldo would have been dreaming about a ball like that earlier in this morning, and probably in his dreams there was a better finish on the end of it, though. I would imagine so. Here's Walsh. I'm sure he's got plenty of time, though, to try and get his team back into this. Green, looking to exert his influence. It's fallen for Bangira. Now here's Nomoski. Crossing opportunity for him into the penalty area. Bangira's touch didn't fall for anyone coming in, and his Catenacci couldn't get hold of it, and Gungahlin started sprightly in the second half. Olympic are well and truly on the back foot at the early stages of this second half. Walsh rather lets him off the hook with that pass, which Kobataldo took over. Now here's Dominici running forward. The run has been made by Gulevski. Goal side chance for Josh Gulevski on the right foot, sweeps it past the goalkeeper. The left foot stab there rather from Gulevski in the sunshine, and didn't trouble Denham. Again, sloppy defending, and you've just got to keep the back door shut. I mean, they just can't afford to go 2 down. Gulevski might have been thinking he could do better himself there. Rather tentative finish on that left foot, wasn't it, after he got into the position? Didn't put his foot through it at all, kind of side-footed it past the keeper, but was always drifting wide of goal. Not sure both defences have turned up yet out of the changing room at half-time. They look half asleep from up here. Here's Georgie. And he's giving it away now, and here's a chance for Catenacci. Dominici. Catenacci again. And Dominici went for the return, but he went right. Catenacci went left, and the ball's gone out of play for a goal kick. A bit sloppy at the start of the second half for both teams, Steve. And it's not the result of any pressure. It's not the result of one team being more dominant than the other. It's just been sloppy play. Well, Denham will take this goal kick. Sun beats down like this, he'll have a suntan tomorrow. You must be from Manchester. Definitely getting burnt. Rene sends that one forward, looking for Dominici again. He's got hold of it, and there's a chance here if he can keep going. Habtemariam's up with him. Dominici into the penalty area. Still going. Dominici clips it towards the back post, but it's always drifting away. Once again, though, Stephen Dominici's got involved early on in the start of the second half. It looks dangerous when he's running with the ball.
Yeah, they did well to force him wide. It was always going to be difficult from that angle. But to changes in possession are just as a result of people not concentrating, and they just need to focus.
Denham looking for a runner ahead of him, and it's looking up towards green, but Bobolas has beaten him in the air. Flag's gone up against Dominici for offside as Jenkins won the header.
Yeah. It's a repetition of the tactic from the first half that goal kicks. Denham's going to try and hit Jack Green and then just look for a little flick on. Didn't work that time, but you can expect to see it more of it.
Here's Jenkins. Walsh. Plenty of space to advance forward. Regan Walsh, and he's giving it away to Colbertaldo. Some sloppy passing at the start of the half by Gungahlin. Look at the room on this near side. If Colbertaldo can pick out the run of Dominici, which he's done, Habtemariam's in the penalty area. Galevski's coming in on the far post as well. But the cross from Dominici is cleared at the front post by Jenkins, and it'll be a throw-in. Chance for Bobolas to perhaps chuck one into the area from here. Go short instead to Habtemariam. Back to Bobolas again. Swings a left footer towards Gillespie, who can't get it under control, so Georgie can send Bangura on his way, and there's runners outside him. It's Rathjen. It's rather slowed down though, this attack, and Tom McLaughlin's back to clear. It's early stage of the second half. We've had one really good chance for Gungahlin to equalise, and a couple of half chances for Olympic.
Yeah, through Gillespie, he might have done a little better.
Here's Timotheu. Slid that one through to Bangura. Now here's some space for Bangura. Up towards the edge of the box, back to Georgie. Clips it in there, and Habtemariam has to swing a left foot at it to get rid of it. Timotheu back towards Georgie again. Colbertaldo's out there trying to shut him down, and in the end Gungahlin get themselves a throw in. Still 1-0. That one goal from Nathan Mejic. Georgie gets himself a corner, so a chance. First set piece of the second half. Opportunity for Gungahlin again.
I'm sure Mr. Munoz would have been talking about the set pieces from Gungahlin and looking for a little bit more from them.
They've sent everybody up except Rathjen and Regan Walsh. And Georgie will take this corner. The obvious target is green again. This one goes a bit towards the near post. The header comes in. Won by Jenkins, and it was just over the crossbar. Constantinu, I think, they had it covered.
Yeah, look, it wasn't on target, so he wasn't unduly troubled, but I think had it been, he was just going to drop into his grateful hands.
But again, another half chance for Gunners.
They've started well. Second half's been theirs so far. Early days.
They need to find a way to get themselves on the score sheet, which Olympic did early.
And Gungahlin should have.
On more than one occasion, you'd say.
Yeah.
Here's Timotheu. McLaughlin's won that one. Dominici tries to turn Jenkins. Well, that's unfortunate. It's bounced off of Jenkins into the path of Dominici. Here's Gillespie. Dedham says it's loose. A chance for Kadnac. It's scramble in the penalty area. It's come for Habtemariam, and he couldn't get hold of it either. And it just trundles into the hands of Denham. Chances for Olympic. Rather unfortunate way it got there, but here's Georgie breaking for Rathjen. He's got a Dwyer getting goal side of Rene. Finds Georgie. Chance here perhaps, but McLaughlin's saved it, blocked it. It's come back from Bangura, and it's trickling through and wide for the goal kick. That was an unfortunate break where it bounced. Rathjen cleared it into the back of Jenkins. It's fallen for Dominici, but they made a good old-fashioned goalmouth scramble, Steve. Yeah,
it was all hands to the pump for Gungahlin. I think Jack Green actually got a blocker in on the floor there. Wonderful tackle, but I think Olympic will be ruined now. They should have scored.
Well, once Denham had made the save, it looked to all intents and purposes like Kadnac or Habtemariam would force the follow-up. And if it was Green who was on the ground, then it was a sensational piece of defending. What we've come to expect from Green, though, over the years, is Colbertaldo looking for Bobolas. Whilst the sun's difficult for us commentating, for you watching at home as well, it'd be very difficult for the goalkeepers if the ball's coming in from that side. It's a ball back pass and Ronaldo's after it. Out comes Constantinu, and he got there just ahead of Ronaldo, but again Olympic a bit lackadaisical defending. Here's Dominici rather. Now Bobolas into the penalty area. It's going to fall here for Katanac, and he's not got that on target. And once again, a chance goes begging. He
tried the very same thing against Belconnen last week to get the equaliser, and it dropped in the far corner. So obviously he's learned his lessons.
But again, a bit slack defensively. Almost got Ronaldo in at the other end.
Yeah, poor back pass. I mean, it really is about concentration. Maybe the sun's bothering him.
I was just saying that just before that chance, Steve, that while it's difficult for everybody here, it's difficult for the keepers if it comes in from that angle as well. Interesting to see if that has any effect on the game. Wind has died a little bit. It's still blowing from right to left. It's not as strong as it was in the first half, though. Walsh. Gungahlin picks it off. Here's Katnac. Habtemariam. Chance for Habtemariam. He swings it across the goal. It's Dominici in there as well, but he can't get a toe on it. And it's hooked clear, and perhaps Jeremy Habtemariam may have pinged a shot at goal there. That should be a free kick for Gungahlin. The referee says play on, giving the advantage. Here's Ronaldo. Now Namoski. Timotheu. The run is from Rathjen. Has to go backwards there to Jenkins, who went close with that header not too long ago. Now Rathjen sends that one forward. Magic's got to be in control of this one, and he is. Just nods that one back calmly to Constantinu, with Ronaldo lurking over his shoulder.
Yeah, no real danger there. They had that under control.
But if you're a Gungahlin fan right now, Steve, you're getting quite excited, I think.
Well, you're certainly encouraged by what's occurred at the start of the second half, but defensively they need to sharpen up a little bit.
Well, they need to do it now as Gilevski's burst into the penalty area, and that's a good challenge from Jenkins to concede the corner.
Can't afford to let the game get too spread and then let Olympic catch them on the counter.
Well, Gungahlin will take this corner,
but they're certainly doing well going forward.
Plenty of blue shirts to aim for, as you'd expect. Usual suspects in and around the danger area. Katnac just plonking himself into the 6-yard box. It's in towards the penalty spot. It's bouncing around. It's not being cleared. It is now by Bangura, who hoiks it forward. Now Ronaldo will get after this, and Rene is going across, but Ronaldo's going to get there first. And Bernard Rene just stood him up and used his experience to win the ball.
It's one of those situations where you just knock it past him and go with his pace.
Yeah, there's half a chance there for him if he'd done so. Here's Jenkins. Now Georgie. Rathjen tried to find him again, but he's stabbed that one out of play. Early stages of the second half. We played about 10 minutes or so. Still 1-0. Here's Katnac, I think that is, in the sunshine.
It is, yeah.
Going past his man, who's stayed down. Twisted ankle, I think it may be. Is that? I think it might be Jenkins.
Yeah, it is, I think.
Here's a chance for Dominici, and as you can see, Jenkins picking himself up. Maybe a hamstring, or definitely something muscular. He's either twisted something or pulled something, David Jenkins over there. After Katnac went past him, he looks in a bit of pain.
He does. This will be a bitter blow if they've got to take him off. He's up on his feet now and moving, but it might well be a hamstring.
Well, looking at the bench, they've got Yusuf Mohammed, Sam Shabbolt, Frano Blasevic and Liam Walsh that they could bring in.
It wouldn't surprise me if they brought on somebody to play left back, if they've got stuck Jack Green back in the middle, or maybe Liam Walsh comes on and plays central defender.
They've got short with the corner, and Dominici tried to swing it through. Now it's broken for Ronaldo. It's on his own. It's got Bangura making up acres of space on this near side, running forward Augustin Bangura, and he's going to get that ball. By now, the Olympic have recovered. Bangura one-on-one with Colbertaldo. Now Green. Will he swing it in with his left foot? He will, but Constantinu is rising and catches and just throws the ball out languidly into the path of Robbie Katnac, who chips that one forward towards Gilevski. Nice looking ball. Gilevski brings it under his spell. looking for someone further forward. Hampton Merriam is the target. Gets past the first challenge. Now Dominici. Nick Rathjen saw that one coming and robbed him with a brilliant tackle. And he finds Bangura. And the ball is being kicked out because I think that's the end of David Jenkins. And it looks like Liam Walsh is going to be the substitute. He's getting stripped in front of us here, and Jenkins obviously in some pain over there.
Yeah, clutching that hamstring. But we saw from the last attack, Mickey Ronaldo again gets in to a good spot and hits that long diagonal ball for Bangura. But in the transition, they failed to pick up Katanak, so they're not getting out high enough from a defensive position, and they're allowing Katanak the freedom of the midfield, and he's playing things in behind, causing them all sorts of problems.
Well, Liam Walsh, who's been out for a long time, is finding his way back to fitness, and he's going to get at least half an hour here. Be interesting to see what sort of reshuffle there is, if any, from Marcel Munoz. Whether Green, well, as you say, will go into central defence and Walsh maybe play left back, or Liam Walsh might play central defence himself.
I think he'll drop Liam Walsh in there initially anyway.
More of a holding midfielder than a central defender, but knows the defensive arts.
I mean, if you're going to transition from one position to another, going from a holding midfielder to a 3 or 4 is a relatively simple transition.
Well, Jenkins is limping off behind the goal, clutching his hamstring, so that's the end of his afternoon. And if there's no way back for Gungahlin, that's the end of his season. He can be pretty proud of what he's achieved this year.
He's had a good year. It's been marred a little by injury, but he really has come of age as a footballer since his days at Woden.
Well, Liam Walsh drops into the field. We'll see what happens, whether there's a change of formation. Timothy has gone back there at the moment, I think, into that defensive role, and Walsh has gone into midfield.
Yeah. So it is 1-6 for another sort of thing.
A bit more height in Anthony Timothy, perhaps, and a bit more pace. Here's Walsh's first touch. And Namoski's bundled off it by Colbertaldo. Gillespie. Now Katanach. Gillespie again. Tries to trick his way past a couple and in the end concedes a free kick.
Got enough shirts around people then. That was better defended from Gungahlin.
So Liam Walsh from the north of England.
Leeds United fan, I believe.
Another Leeds United fan, like the man to my right.
Yeah, obviously a man of immense taste.
I believe some of his family may be watching from overseas. If they are, hope the Walshes are enjoying the game. And their boys on the field looking to influence this one.
Probably similar sort of weather.
Well, just as cold. It's the summer in the UK, isn't it? So it'll be raining, probably snowing in Leeds.
Oh, I don't know. Garden City of the North.
Well, we're in Canberra this afternoon and the sun is out. We've got under half an hour to go in this preliminary final. PS4 MPL live on Bar TV Sports. It's 1-0 to Canberra Olympic, and it has been since the 3rd minute of the game when Nathan Medjic scored delicious little lob over the head of Nathan Denham. Gungahlin, though, looking for an equaliser. Here's Liam Walsh. Katanach comes in to take it off his toe. Colbertaldo looking for the run of Dominici, who's offside. Must have come back from an offside position.
Yeah.
And there'll be a free kick to Gunners, which Timothy will take. Looks for Green, who brings it down, but defensively Tim Bobolas saw that one coming from a long way off. Here's Namoski. Green to Bangura, nice turn. Got him away from the trouble and into a bit of space, and then again he keeps going as he gets past Bobolas. Colbertaldo this time comes across, the ball's into the penalty area, and Constantino again clutches it off the head of Jason Oduah, but well played Augustin Bangura once more.
Yeah, great feat, lovely run, not a bad service either, and Angelo does what he does best.
Green wins a header off the back of Gillespie, and off he goes. Just drifts past a couple of tackles. Jack Green sends it into the area. It's bounced off the heel of Medjic, and Constantino under pressure again. Takes them all day long, Angelo Constantino.
He went past the Olympic players then there were witches' hats, didn't he?
I think they just kind of fell over for him, didn't they? Cast a spell and off they went. Here's Georgie. Liam Walsh. Back to Timotheo. Now Rathjen. Can't squeeze the ball past Rene.
That's
and again, Domenici's offside. Come back for an offside decision. Despite the wrath of some of the Olympic supporters, that's probably a correct call.
He was indeed. He was well offside.
This free kick will be taken right in front of the main grandstand, where we are. Chipped forward, headed away by Galeski. Falls for Liam Walsh. Now Namoski. Back to Reagan Walsh. Walsh to Walsh. Georgie. And Liam Walsh again. Nice little ball over the top to Green. Bobolas is out there with him. And Jack Green looking to get past Bobolas, and he has done so, but Bobolas got a toe on it just to slow the momentum. Here's Bangura. Takes it back into the same corner. But this time there's two blue shirts to halt him, and he concedes a free kick. Liam Walsh getting a lot of touches since he's come on.
Yeah, it's actually fixed the shape up a little bit. Liam Walsh is a very experienced holding midfielder, whereas previously I thought Timotheo was getting a little high and getting caught out. Well, so this has worked in their favour.
We're going to see a change from Canberra Olympic. Michael Reeve is about to join the fray. With 20 minutes gone, or 21 minutes gone of the second half. 66th minute, and it looks like Jeremy Habtemariam is going to make way for him, so like-for-like swap.
Yeah. Michael Reeves, another former Belconnen player, blessed with a lot of pace and great touch. Jeremy's probably not had his greatest game today, but he's another one that's had a very good season.
Well, Michael Reeve jogs on. Very skillful futsal player as well.
Yeah.
Got good feet, quick across the ground, so maybe getting a chance to show what he's got on the break as Gungahlin search for this equaliser. Walsh and Georgie. Seems to always be in space, Anthony Georgie. Dwyer's got away from Rene. Chance pass for Gungahlin. Here's Jason O'Dwyer. Swings it into Peltier, and it was a dangerous looking ball across, but it's out for a goal kick. But Anthony Georgie just drops off and gets himself into those pockets, doesn't he? And creates the space really well. Yeah,
it's obviously something Gungahlin have worked extensively on, getting people to drop into those little pockets. But Jason O'Dwyer's movement in behind has caused Olympic trouble all day.
We said a number of times this season his work rate is phenomenal. Yeah. He just keeps going and going and going. He seems to be tireless down there. There's another change coming here as well. This is young Adrian Maycor, who's going to come on for Tim Bobolas, it would seem. Tim Bobolas doesn't look like he's moving too freely as he's coming off there, Steve.
Tim's had a really serious ankle injury, and this is his first game back after a long time out. So it's probably a little bit of fitness as well as the injury just catching up with him a little bit.
So Maycor goes into that right back position. It's a good ball from Rene on the half volley over the top to Galeski. Domenici's going to get this. Stands up Liam Walsh. Reeve's first touch didn't get enough on it, and Jack Green just says thanks very much, and off come Gungahlin. And the first touch for Maycor, who concedes a free kick for handball. Haven't seen a lot of Adrian Maycor. Naturally a right back, or
no? He's a midfielder that's been pressed into service at right back, but he's immensely talented. Got a lot of potential. Nephew of the famous Daniel Maycor.
I played against Danny a few times. He could score some goals for Belconnen.
Yeah, well, Adrian's more the creative type.
Yep, Danny Maycor, well known to people in Canberra. The bane of many of a defence over the course in the NSL. In the was a competition they played with the Blue Devils as well.
In the New South Wales.
New South Wales.
Well, the forerunner of the NBL. Yeah.
Plenty of goals for him. Still knocking him in the Masters as well, I hear.
He was playing in the grand final today, as I understand it.
Won the state leagues?
Yeah. We'll certainly hear about it if they've won.
Surprised your phone's not going off now. It's a throw to Gungahlin. Liam Walsh has it. Does well to get past the first tackle, but then runs the ball out of play, and it's a third substitution in as many minutes here. Game has stopped as it looks like we're going to see Sam Shabbot, I think it is.
Yeah.
And this is Georgie coming off, yeah. So he's had a good game as well, Steve, Anthony Georgie, and this is an interesting change, Chabot for Georgie.
I think once again just looking for a little bit more physical presence. Sam's capable of creating chances from midfield. He's got a good switch, knocks a good long ball, and I'm sure they'll be pushing him further forward and trying to get him closer to Dwyer and Ronaldo.
Well, they get an early chance to get involved, you think? Here's a break though for Olympic. Reeve picks it up in front of the benches. Mako makes that forward run. Does well with his first touch to get away from Green. Opportunity to find the runner with him. It's back to Mako again. Goes past the challenge. It heels a clip. Still Mako going. And he could have gone down there, Steve, but that was a definite shout for a penalty if he had.
There was certainly contact, but that's, you've got to give the lad 100% credit for staying on his feet. Pulls it back, they probably score, and he's a little unfortunate not to get the goal himself. I
think that little stumble just put him off, didn't it?
It did,
didn't quite get his shot away, but he's won his team a corner and shown just what he's got going forward, Adrian Mako. McLaughlin looks to deliver towards the far post. Reeve is jumping high. I think Bejic rather is jumping high and got an elbow to the face. It's fallen for Bobolas, who swings it to this near side. A lot of space for Michael Reeve to bring it under control, but the referee stops it. Magic is in a bit of trouble. Copped an arm or a knock in the face there. Nothing sinister about that, though.
No, accidental.
Looking back, Steve, it was Nathan Magic's goal after 3 minutes that separated these two sides as we enter the final 20 minutes of the match. And if it is to be the winner, and we hope to see more goals for the end, it was an outrageous finish. It was a good finish from a player who's done quite well today.
Yeah, I should imagine that the purists will be saying it was a goal worthy of winning the semi-final. And not very often that you remember the semi-final winners and losers. It's all about the next one, the big dance. But Magic's done well. He's separating the team at the moment. He's defended okay. And Gungalin's early burst at the start of the second half seems to just faltered a little bit at the moment. Maybe the changes or the forced changes to Jenkins and others has just upset the rhythm a bit.
Well, Magic had experience in the Victorian MPL as well. It's been around a bit.
And he played overseas as well. I think he played in the lower divisions in Italy for a while.
He's certainly a quality footballer and knows his way around the park at both ends of the field. At the moment he's getting a bit of treatment. He'll be coming back on very shortly though, as Timotheo just gives that one back all the way up the other end to Angelo Constantinu. And we enter the final 20 minutes of the game. Olympic still leading live on Bar TV Sports 1-0 in this prelim final. Belconnen United await the winners at McKellar Park next week. I'm hearing the important results coming in. State League Division 3. Belconnen, was it Belconnen who played? Now it's Olympic.
Yeah.
Olympic. They won 6-0. Danny Makos just told us they've won 6-0 in State League 3. I'm sure he got a couple as well. Did he say?
No.
He didn't. I'm sure we'll get a follow-up to that one. I'm guessing 2.
No, well, it'll be all 6 if it's up the dam.
It's Bangira. Gungahlin would like one of those goals at the moment. Here's Namoski. Chance perhaps to get a shot away. Tackle comes in though from Mako. Not once but twice. And he's come away with the ball. And it's out to Reeve. Now Katnach.
Young Adrian Makor's given them a little bit of enthusiasm that they were missing at the start of this half. He's done very well since he came on.
Well, there you go. Canberra Olympic State League 3 champions today in Canberra with a 6-0 win. They've got a chance next week. At the moment, they're in the PL20's grand final as well. And if this stays the same, of course, they're in the Premier League first grade grand final as well. Both those matches against Belconnen. So we should have a big crowd next week, Steve, if it's Belco Olympic in 20s and first grade.
Yeah. And we won't have to put up the sun at McKellar like we have to today.
That's true. It's always cold at McKellar.
It's always cold and windy at McKellar.
Yeah, always. This Chabot getting involved. Pulling back McLaughlin a bit, but the referee lets that one go. Now here's Reeve. Forward towards Dominici. Looks like a little touch that he loves to turn defenders with. Reeve again. Liam Walsh comes out to shadow. Dominici. Now Katnach. Looking for Gillespie, but that one's been shut down by Bangira, who's worked his socks off in the middle of the park today, Augustine Bangira.
His second half has been a lot better than his first half too. Physically, he's got himself into the game and he's started to win those 50-50s. He's been an asset in the second half.
Constantinu is going to send this one back towards the Gungahlin goal. Regan Walsh has gone across. Sends that one up the line. And O'Dwyer brings Bangira into play. Now Namoski. Liam Walsh, the idea was right, but it came off the heel of Reeve. But it's found its way to Namoski anyway. Walsh again. Back to Timotheo. Walsh once more. Patient build-up. Ball over the top to Rathjen, who's crept in on the right-hand side and swings that one across. It's going to break towards the edge of the area. McLaughlin helps it away. Namoski tries to bring it back into the danger zone. It falls for Liam Walsh once more. Might try his luck from distance, Liam Walsh. And height of ambition for a moment. Yes. Thought he was Tony Yeboah.
Yeah, he was a long way out to be trying a little volley there.
Set himself up, and you think, why not? That flies in, he'd be talking about that forever and a day.
Well, he'd have dined on that for a while. Unfortunately, well wide.
Didn't test Olympics goalkeeper Angela Constantinou. 15 minutes left, and plus stoppage time for Gungahlin to find their way back into this one. Otherwise, Olympic will be back in the grand final once more. Here's Katnach. Reaping the trophies over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Olympic, haven't they, under Frank Keisha?
Yeah.
Scooping them up left, right and centre.
Yeah, they've been the benchmark, no doubt about it. I mean, they didn't win a trophy out of the FFA Cup last year, but they got to the semi-finals, and that's a really, really big achievement from a local side in Canberra. Great year in their anniversary year last year.
Yeah, there isn't many state league sides around Australia that have got that far in the competition.
No.
Canberra Olympic, one of them. Obviously, it's a switch to this side. They're looking to add a second today. Here's Adrian Maycor, who we were talking about just a moment ago. Runs into Green, and the ball goes loose to Liam Walsh, who sends that towards Shadbolt, but that's overhit. It's not going to keep that one in.
No. A little bit rusty from the Yorkshireman.
Maycor to take the throw. To Reeve, but Namoski's nipped it off his toe. And there's a free kick. Maycor just left his foot in.
Needs a real push now from Gungahlin. If they're going to get something out of this game, they've got to be going now.
Well, they may as well go for it, haven't they? Yeah. I mean, they may as well lose 2-3-0 rather than 1-0 at this stage in one of these competitions. Here's Timotheo. They've done exceptionally well to get this far. They won't want their fairy tale run to end just yet.
And there's no reason why he should. They've done enough to at least score.
Good ball from Walsh, looking for Green. He's got some space. On that left foot, swings it into Peltier. Ronaldo comes in with a header, nods it into the path of Shadbolt rather than goalwards, and it's bounced off the arm of the covering defender, who was Yarnold, who was back there. That's Gillespie, and that looks like it might be offside against Dominici, and the flag goes up again. Another good call from Alex McConaughey on this near side. Despite the protestations from the Olympic crowd, he was well off again. Just making his runs a bit early, Stephen. Good chance though once more of their break. There's going to be those more opportunities in the last 15 minutes, you'd think. Here's Shadbolt trying to help that round the corner, and it's going to trickle away for a throw-in right down in the corner, which Bernard Rene will take. Gungahlin subs out, warming up again. They're going to need more quality out of Sam Shadbolt in those sorts of areas of the pitch if they're going to get something out of this game. I mean, you can see what he was trying to do, roll around the corner and get O'Dwyer into a crossing position. But maybe this is it, set piece, maybe Namoski's left foot. Well, the free kick's been given, and Misko Namoski is going to go across to take it. Again, well, Regan Walsh is jogging over there as well. Maybe he fancies this one. I think they'd be better off putting him into the box. Although he does knock a great set piece. Well, Shadbolt's in there as well now, and he has a few extra inches. Mercifully, the sun's starting to sink, and we can see what's going on properly. It's nice of it for the last 12 minutes plus stoppage time. Let's see what Walsh can do with this free kick. Swings it in towards Shadbolt. Rene wins a header and then goes down in a heap. Landed awkwardly on his ankle. It's going to break for Reeve. Walsh wins it though. And again goes past Reeve. Ball bounces over Bangira's foot. Rathjen. Walsh back to Timotheo. Gungahlin looking to start again. They won't be rushing this, even there's still plenty of time. Walsh brings it forward. looking for some movement ahead of him. Pretty static at the moment. So finds Rathjen. Comes in field to Namoski. Yarnold strong in the challenge and wins a free kick, and that's the first yellow card of the day. Mishko Namoski goes into the book for Sherpool.
Yeah, Mishko got himself into those pockets that Georgie was finding in the first half, but not strong enough to hold off the challenge of Yarnold there, and then gives away the silly free kick.
Thought we might get through a whole game with that yellow card there for a moment.
No, this is Canberra.
So McLaughlin will take the free kick. Swings it to Maycore, who keeps it in field. Now Reeve, who loses out to Green. Eerie kind of atmosphere here at the moment, isn't it, Steve? Not very noisy. There's a lot of tension amongst both sets of supporters.
Well, the game's in the balance, isn't it? And like you were saying before, Gungahlin don't want their fairy tale run to end yet, and Olympic desperate to get themselves into a grand final and looked for a three-peat.
As the floodlights beam down on this part of the world, Liam Walsh's pass is overhit. Just a reminder, next week live on Bar TV Sports, we will have a live coverage of all three grand finals in Canberra, PL18s, PL20s and first grade, if I can still talk by the end of the day.
Fantastic coverage by Bar TV. I mean, I think that will be the first time in Canberra's football history that certainly the under 18s and 20s have been covered live.
So if you can't get out to the game and you fancy coming to watch some football next week, 11 o'clock, Tigers versus Belconnen United on Bar TV Sports, and at 1:30, Olympic versus Belconnen in the under-20s, and then the first grade at 4. That one's offside against Ronaldo. At the moment, we're looking like it's a 4:30 rather for first grade. Looking like an Olympic Belconnen kickoff, grand final there.
It is. Well, if it stays the same, that's exactly what it'll be. But Gungahlin, 10 minutes to go plus injury time, have nothing to lose now. And it may mean that they do lose by 2 or 3, but if they don't sort of put the foot down now, they're never going to.
Well, Constantino will take this free kick. Sends it forward. Flicked on by Gillespie. Almost ran through for Dominici. And Gungahlin in a fashion get it clear. Here's Namoski. The runner is Rathjen. Bit of space for him on the halfway line. Looks for O'Dwyer, but that was asking a lot for Jason O'Dwyer. McLaughlin settles things down. Now Katnach tries to slide it through. Foot race between Dominici and Timotheo, which Timotheo wins.
Read it well. Timotheo did well.
Regan Walsh. Namoski. Now Liam Walsh. Switch to Green. I'd like to see Jack Green further involved, further forward as time ticks down. Bangura. Liam Walsh. Lifts it over the top, but Megjik wins the header. Dwyer sends it back in there towards Ronaldo. It's going to bounce and it's going to fall for Shadbolt, who tries to just bundle his way past the challenges, but it's broken through for Constantinu. Could see Frano Blazovic ready to come on. Last throw of the dice for Gungahlin. Here's Katnach looking for Reeve. Green's gone back to nod that one forward, but he can only find the on-rushing Adrian Maycore. Now Reeve. Maycore's there again. Taking on now Moski. The youngster holding the ball up well. Bit early to be holding it up in the corner, but looking for a corner, looking to get a set piece for his team. Doing well as well. Good strength. In the end, though, he can't win that corner and gives away a goal kick.
Yeah, I don't think they want to be starting to think like that. They don't want to be shut not shop just yet. It's a bit too far out. We've probably got the best part of 10 minutes to go with injury time, probably a bit longer.
Well, that's the end of the game for Mishko Namoski. Frano Blazovic comes on with 7 minutes remaining, and he'll be a handful up front there, Steve.
Yeah, and I think they're going to 3 at the back. This is the, as you say, the last roll of the dice for him. Jack Green's pushing on, and it's a 3 at the back.
Shadbolt, ninja style, hooks that over the top. And Phil Yarnold concedes a corner. That was a Zlatan Ibrahimovic flick there from Sam Shadbolt. won his team a corner. Now, chance perhaps for Gungahlin to fill the box with bodies. They've left Rathjen back to cope with Dominici on the break. Everybody else, apart from Liam Walsh, who's in between the penalty, the D and the centre circle, is in the penalty area. It's swung in and the whistle's gone. For I'm not sure. I think Greg Taylor's just having a word with a bit of push and shove, I think, between O'Dwyer and perhaps Blazovic was involved as well. One of those things off a corner. Anyway, we'll go again.
Yeah, Gungahlin get a second opportunity. Can they take advantage?
Regan Walsh is going to take it. Sweeps that into the penalty area. It's going to come back to the defender, who'll get a second chance to deliver. Better looking cross this time, and Constantinou comes, and his big frame flies through the Canberra air to catch and roll the ball out towards Rene, and Bangura again, bundle of energy.
Done well, done really well second half. So those sort of crosses aren't going to trouble Angelo Constantinou. They've got to come in with a little bit more pace. They've got to take the keeper out of the game by going back post, and unfortunately that just floated into an area where he was very comfortable.
Well, Gungahlin have thrown on all three of their substitutes. Olympic have got one more up their sleeve. We could see Michael John or Victor Yanis. I doubt we're going to see Jack Petit unless there's an injury. Here's Reeve. Catanach tried to get there, but Green risks it to intercept and brings his team away. Here's Shabolt running at Maycor. Good run inside him by Ronaldo into the penalty area. This is the moment. It's back, and McLaughlin's got his foot in, and it's cleared by Arnold, only as far as Green. Goleski's back to challenge him. Jack Green back to Walsh. Looks to change the direction of the attack with that pass out wide towards Timotheo. He's got space to line one up. Good looking ball into the penalty area. It's going to drop to Shabolt.
Needs help.
No one with him at the moment. He scoops it back towards Liam Walsh. Thought about the shot again, I think. Back to Regan Walsh. Now Green.
Yeah.
Sweeps it out wide again to Timotheo. Good ball. Can he get the cross into the penalty area? Swings it in low this time, and it's just a lazy swing of the boot to clear it by Yarnold once more. Less than 4 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Here's Bangura. Timotheo. Bangura. Timotheo again. Dwyer was in there, but it's going to roll through to Constantinou. Good pressure from Gungahlin though.
It's been a brave effort from Gungahlin. I don't think anybody would be too surprised that Olympic are in the position they're in, but Gungahlin have really taken the game to them.
As Constantinou thumps that one into the sky, it's going to bounce on halfway. Dominici's come to fetch it. Now Catanach. Good turn. Got away from Liam Walsh. Catanach now could have fed Gillespie. Tried to go himself. Still going, Robbie Catanach, and Walsh comes back to win it. And away. Come Gungahlin. Steve, 3 minutes to go. Can you see Gungahlin getting their way back into this one?
I'm not writing them off. But time is their enemy now. And so's that.
Catanach, chance for Dominici. Buried down a goal. Is this the moment? It's not, because he's been denied by Jason Denham, who got down well to save. Clear chance of first clear side of goal for Dominici this afternoon, and Denham does well to save it. You thought that was a moment that could have killed it off for Olympic. As it is, Gungahlin still alive. Rathjen sends it forward, and Megic hooks it up in the air. McLaughlin tries to bring it under control, and Colbertaldo says somewhere up the other end of Deakin Stadium will do from Olympic's point of view. Good chance out for Dominici. Good save from Denham.
Yeah, I mean, the big man's done well at the back, but that was the one that could have sealed it.
Walsh wins that header. Flicked on by O'Dwyer. Chance for Blazovic perhaps, but it's going to roll through to Constantinou. The pace of it was just a little bit too hard. Chance
if Ronaldo's on the end of it. Frano's not quick enough to get them.
Constantinou thumps it forward. And we're going to see the final change of the afternoon. It's Victor Yanis who's going to come on. For Joshua Gillespie, who's worked really hard. And Yanis, that little bit of extra nous, a bit of extra experience to try and get his foot on the ball and see out this 90 seconds plus stoppage time.
Well, we had an early goal to start the game off. Can we get a late one to finish it off?
Well, here's Katnash looking to provide that into the penalty area, pulls it back, chance for Dominici. Gone to that left foot, it's blocked. And 3 or 4 yellow shirts get rid of it, and Chabot slams it up the park looking for O'Dwyer. Ronaldo's chasing, Yarnell goes across to win it, and his pass is a bit tentative, but McLaughlin gets him out of trouble. Now Reeve, bit of a shove in the back there by Timothea, a bit silly from the youngster with less than 60 seconds to go. Gives Olympic a chance to just slow things down. Frank Keisha and his troops, Steve, very close to yet another final.
Yeah, I think from a spectator's point of view, I think most people like to see the 2 top teams in the grand final, and although the Centre of Excellence finished officially second, Belconnen were the best of the local teams behind them, so a grand final between Olympic and Belconnen is a mouth-watering sort of thing to look forward to.
Well, that's what we've got next Saturday at 4:30 live on Bar TV Sports, unless something dramatic changes in this final 10 seconds plus stoppage time. Green looking to make that happen. Here's Bangura. Now Rathjen going the wrong way as far as Gungahlin are concerned. Walsh, beautiful ball to find Shabolt. Bit of space for him. He tried the outside of the football into the pass of Blazovic, who's challenging Medjic, who goes down under the challenge, but no foul, says referee Greg Taylor. It's a corner and a chance to just send everybody forward. I'm sure the whole Gungahlin team will be up for this one. They may as well get involved. Denham's asking if he can go as well. We're into stoppage time. Marcel Munoz not letting his keeper make the journey forward, and Nick Rathjen staying back as well, which is rather surprising. 30 seconds of stoppage time gone. Chance for Walsh to swing it. It's a deep one towards the back post. Green's underneath it. Heads it back towards Bangura, who volleys it goalwards. Bounce off McLaughlin. Chance for Ronaldo. Great block by Yarnell. Back to Ronaldo again. And McLaughlin just scoops it away. It's not clear yet. It is this time as Medjic just sends it out. But a great opportunity again. It's bouncing around. And for the first time this afternoon, the Olympic fans in fine voice. A minute of stoppage time has gone.
Every chance seems to fall to young Mickey Ronaldo today, doesn't he? He just hasn't got his shooting boots today.
On another day, he'll pick up 4 or so. Here's Green swinging that throw in. Rene's underneath it, heads it down. It's volley clear as far as Bangura. Touches a little heavy, but he's got a second opportunity. Tried to fire the shot in, and it's Katnash who just thumps that one forward. It's going to break for Dominici. The chase is on. Dominici and Green. Dominici's got away from him. Denham comes out. Chance for Dominici, but he's kicked it straight at Jason Denham, who bluffed him in the one-on-one. Dominici went for the lob, but it didn't quite come off of the striker. Here's Rathjen looking to swing that one up in towards Regan Walsh, but it's won by Rene, and he's going to get it now, you'd think, from Reeve. He's got Dominici in loads of room on this near side if he finds him, but Green has to get there. He doesn't. Dominici's clear. Stephen Dominici sends his team towards a grand final with an unerring finish across Denham into the bottom corner. It's Canberra Olympic who will play Belconnen next week. Stephen Dominici seals it in stoppage time. It's 2-0.
Stephen Dominici, trademark finish, end of the game, late in the game, seals it for Olympic. Perhaps a little against the run of play, but nonetheless, brave effort from Gungahlin, but it's Olympics Day.
Just took his time to roll it back across Denham. It was a bit unfortunate for Green. He tried the interception. He couldn't get it. He had to throw a boot at it. And when Dominici was in, on that occasion, he never looked like missing. He took his time and just arrowed it in the corner. And Gungahlin's brave hopes of a place in the grand final next week looks to have been extinguished at the death.
Yep, it's been a decent game. It's been a great effort from the Gungahlin boys. Olympic can go through to the grand final. They'll beat Belconnen next week, and we can look forward to a rematch of last week's major semi.
28 goals for the season for Stephen Dominici. Close steps closer to that mythical 30-goal barrier. Liam Walsh have Gungahlin got something in their locker. You wouldn't begrudge them at least a consolation at this stage. Here's Green looking to provide something forward. He's come for Ronaldo, gets a toe on it, and another chance for young Mickey Ronaldo, but he couldn't get it over the head, and the flag was up.
Offside, but another chance from Ronaldo in the back. I mean, they've got a lot of joy in behind the Olympic back four. I'm sure Belconnen will be watching this.
Constantino with the free kick. We're into the 4th minute of stoppage time. Here's Yanez. I think it's his first touch for Victor Yanez, but there was a goal while he was on the field. Inspired substitution from Keisha. Adrian Maycor, who's done well since he's come on, throws it up the line, looking for Catanach. Regan Walsh comes across, and Greg Taylor says that's the end of that. It is Canberra Olympic who will make their way to the grand final next week. Steve, sum it up for us in just a few words.
Well, I think it was a game of missed opportunities for the boys in yellow. They created enough chances to have probably put a bit more pressure on Olympic, and in the end it's the composure and the calm finishing of Stephen Dominici that's actually put them through to the grand final. We saw a terrific goal from Megic in the first half, a late goal from Dominici to seal it, but in between Gungahlin have probably dominated possession. They've created enough chances, as I said, but it'll be Olympic that goes through and live to breathe another day.
You called it, Steve. Thanks for your company this afternoon. We'll look forward to catching up with you next week for the grand final. Good luck in your under-18s final at 11 o'clock. Remember, you can watch all three grand finals next week live on Bar TV Sports 11, 1:30, and the big one at 4:30. Canberra Olympic will play Balcony United. That's because we've had goals in the first minutes and the last minutes of the game. Nathan Megic, after 3 minutes, put Olympic in front with an audacious lob from a corner, and then a second goal in stoppage time from Stephen Dominici. He's just sealed it here at Deakin Stadium. Canberra Olympic will go on looking for that three-peat. It's finished Canberra Olympic 2, Gungahlin United 0.